Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from where you are. Welcome to today's session. And this is our last session of the year, the 20th series of the IELTA Kenya webinars. And we've been delighted that the entire year we've been having educators from the globe taking us through different webinars, and we've been able to learn a lot in career development and also learn and teach others. And I urge you to be interactive during the session. Feel free to write your comments on the chat box. If you need to say anything, you'll be able to write on the chat box and our moderator is going to read it out. If you want to speak, if it's a question, we'll have the questions at the end of the session, but in between as the speaker is taking us through, please, you'll be able to just write the questions on the chat box so that we avoid disrupting the presenter. So let me introduce you to our moderator today, who is a guest moderator from Indonesia, and he's a certified TESOL instructor and pioneer of the PTE academics test in Indonesia. He's currently served as a director of academic development at Ascara English and Polyglot Limited, an education consultant company. He has earned a bachelor's degree at State Islamic University of Sultan Daha Saifuddin Jambi, Indonesia. That was in 2024, and works as a teacher trainer at Global Heart TESOL Academy. Welcome, Dwiki. Thank you. Welcome all the participants. Dwiki, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Marco. Nice to meet you. Okay, yeah, that's my profile. Nice to meet you all. So actually, right now, yeah, I'm teaching English as a foreign language in Indonesia. But I believe without further ado, I would like to say something before we move on into our presenter today. So, his name is Mr. Kenneth Okumu. That's how I pronounce your name. Maybe sorry for the mistake. And actually, Mr. Okumu, Mr. Kenneth is a dedicated and results-oriented educator with a strong passion for teaching, mentorship, and learner development. He is also owning a bachelor's degree in education arts from the East African University located in Nairobi, Kenya. He is also a trained and TESOL certified teacher for over 5 years. Experience in curriculum delivery, classroom management, learner assessment, and academic performance analysis. He is also currently serving as the head of department at Infill Academy. Also, he is the CEO and the founder of Winner Strives Learning and Mentorship Hub, a program that offers home-based and online classes to learners at the comfort zone of their home. Over the time, he is also developing an effective skill in lesson planning, preparation of professional recruits, and the implementation of learner-centered teaching approaches that support holistic education. So, back to the stage. So I believe Mr. Kenneth can present his presentation. So the stage is yours, Mr. Kenneth.
Thank you so much, everyone. I know we have different time zone. In some country, it is early in the morning. Some it is in the afternoon. Some it is in the evening. But I just greet you all. I hope everyone is able to hear me from your side. Thank you, our moderator and the organizer that has made us today to be here. So I'll just start right away. You've heard my bio introduction, and that is who I am. So the title that I had that we'll be discussing is The Power of Reading to Improve in English. We all know that English is a global language that we use in different parts in life. More specifically, it might be an interesting storybook of a story of maybe a place, a story of someone, a story of a legend. And then through reading that, you'll be able to learn. You'll be able to learn English. Then you can also learn English through reading a novel. So we can also learn English through reading newspapers. Every time, I know in every country we have newspapers that comes out every day, and we get what happens in the country through reading the newspapers. We can also learn English through comics and graphics novels. So we have the comic and graphic novels that are written in English. So when you become part of a reader, then from there you'll be able to get these documents and read through them. We can also learn. Reading in English can also include reading blogs, online articles. Sometimes we go to Chrome, we go to maybe Google Scholar and then get articles. From there, we can read and also learn English from there. Then we can also learn English through reading subtitles while watching the shows. Any form of reading count if it is regular or meaningful. So what I mean by being regular or meaningful, it simply means that anytime you are reading English, then you must do it regularly. Then it must be meaningful because you must be able to remember what you read. So, for example, when I'm reading a story today, by tomorrow, I must be able to remember what was I reading, and that is how you'll be able to improve your English. Please scroll. How reading improve vocabulary? That is what I want us to at least to be able to go through in this presentation. So you can learn new words in the context. When you are reading, then you realize that there is a new vocabulary, some words that you've never met, and then you go and find its meaning. From there, you learn to know the meaning of new vocabulary. So as we all know, and as we can see, that new vocabulary can only be learned when you are reading. You will not be able to know a new vocabulary if you have not come across it. And how will you come across it? You can only do that when you are reading through the articles, the storybooks, the novels, and even the blogs and online articles that we've just mentioned. So we can also improve vocabulary through understanding the spelling and the usage. So anytime we are there to learn new vocabulary, we must understand how do we spell the word and what is the usage of the word. How do we use it in a sentence? So that will help you to improve your vocabulary. Then, how once can we be able to improve our vocabulary? Through learning idioms and synonyms, words with the same meaning. So when you come across these words, then you must at least do a research and find out what is the meaning of this word and what is any other word that can be used instead of it, which will represent the same meaning. So that will help you to improve your vocabulary. Then we can also improve our vocabulary through learning formal and informal words. The words that we are used to, we get across it or we come across it, and then we learn what is the meaning of these words and how are they being used. How can we use these words in a sentence? From there, we'll be able to improve our vocabulary. We've ever had people who are good speakers. They use words that are having similar meanings. They only learn that through when they learn new vocabularies. Then we can also improve our vocabularies when we use repeated words, and then they become very easy for us to be able to remember. So repeated words in a sentence will help you to remember the meaning of that word. Now, we can also learn new vocabulary or improve in our vocabulary when we use these words in a sentence. When you learn new vocabulary, you need to use it in a sentence. Then from there, you'll be able to master it and then continue using it in a real life situation. Now, in an example that I can give here, for example, when we are reading stories, it will help you to understand words like brave, being curious, nervous, through situation, not definition. Now, maybe you use a word and then people are looking at you as if you didn't spell that word or pronounce that word correctly. So you become nervous, or you become afraid of that, of using it again. But when you learn new vocabularies, from those ridiculizations, you'll be able to continue doing more research to know what is the best way to be able to improve on my vocabularies. Then from there, you can also be able to learn. You can also be able to learn different things. And like now, what I've just said is being brave. You will also be able to know how to be brave. You'll also be able to know how to be curious, and also the situation of knowing the word to define will also be applicable for you. So now, how does reading improve grammar naturally? Now, we've just highlighted how reading improve vocabularies, and we have 6 points that we've listed here, and that will help us so that as we continue, we know how can we be able to improve our vocabularies. Then, how will reading improve grammar, our grammar naturally? So that is the next slide that we need to discuss, how reading improve grammar naturally. Now, we always know that we have what we call the grammar rules. So these grammar rules will become very familiar without much effort. So through this, you'll be able to learn the sentence structure. Now, the moment you know the grammar rules, then that will help you to learn how the sentence should be structured. Then it will also be able to help you learn about the tenses. And we know the tenses that are applicable in English. Then from there, it will also help you to learn about the punctuations. Yes, where do we need to use the punctuation marks? Where do we need to use the correct tenses? How do you need to apply the concept of the sentence structure? For example, when someone says when your brain starts recognizing what sounds right, then you know that you are a good reader. So sometimes you speak a word, then the brain start recognizing whatever you are doing is the right thing. The word that you're speaking is the right vocabulary, is the right grammar. That will help you to improve your grammar. Now, good readers often write and speak better without studying grammar deeply. Why do that? Because through the reading, you will be able to know that this is the correct grammar to use in a sentence, or this is the correct grammar to use while speaking. That will automatically help you to be better in speaking and to be better in grammar without studying grammar so much deeply. So one of the things we need to do for us to be able to improve our grammar is we need always to learn the sentence structure, we need to learn the tenses, and we need to learn about the punctuation. Now, how does reading improve speaking skill? So I've talked of how reading can improve our grammar naturally. I've also talked of how reading can improve our vocabulary. So the next thing that I'll take you through is how does reading improve our speaking skills. Right now, we are communicating. For us to be able to understand each other, there's a concept of communication that is involved. Now, reading, number one, will be able to increase our vocabulary. The more you read, the more you'll be able to come up with different vocabularies and find their meanings. Then, through reading, it will be able to increase our sentence variety. Sometimes you may not use the same sentence all the time, but when you read, then we'll be able to identify different variety of the sentence and then use them in real life situation. Now, reading can also improve our speaking skill through because it will help you to express ideas clearly. The moment you have an idea and you are unable to express your ideas clearly, then people might not understand you or people might misunderstand you. So the moment I have an idea, then I'm able to speak it out very eloquently. From there, people will be able to understand me. And that is why speaking skills, how does reading improve speaking skill? It will help you to express ideas clearly. Then it will also help you to speak with confidence. The moment I have a good speaking skills, then, and my grammar is also correct, I'll be able to speak with a lot of confidence. And sometimes people fear speaking because they fear uh, maybe making a mistake. Maybe your grammar is not right, or while you're speaking, you messed up in your tenses. Then people start looking down upon you. From there, you become nervous, and then fear comes in. But the moment you have good speaking skill, then the confidence will also come because you are very clear on what you're saying. It also helps you to start using correct expression naturally. Now, sometimes you look at good speakers, these people who are good orators. They can speak very eloquently. They can express, use correct expression naturally. And you wonder, did they have any written document or any written speech that they were reading? And yet, they were not reading from anywhere. It comes naturally because they have developed and mastered this concept. Reading, this also will help us because reading dialogues in stories improve. Sorry for that, I was admitting someone, sorry. Reading dialogues in stories improve everyday's conversation skills. Every time we speak to people. So when I have good speaking skill, and then I also have mastered the concept of reading, then it will also help me to improve everyday conversation skills. Sometimes you meet different people and you'll always enjoy when you're speaking to them because they have mastered how to speak. They have mastered the skills of conversation. So those are the ways through reading improve our speaking skills. So I've said number one, it will increase our vocabulary, it will improve sentence variety, it will build our concept. So how does reading help us to improve our writing skills? How does reading help us to improve our writing skills? That is what we need. That is not what we need to discuss by now. Now, one thing that we know that when we are reading, there is something that will always grow. That is our writing skill. After we've learned that through reading, we'll be able to improve our speaking skills, then the writing skills is also very important. Now, one thing that we learned is that we'll always be able to learn how to start and end a sentence because the writing skills need that. Then we'll also be able to learn how to organize ideas. So through organizing ideas, it will help us always to know how do I use this sentence in a structured way while doing my writing. So this will help you to improve, number one, in your essays. It will help you to improve in writing maybe emails. It will also help you to improve. It will also be able to help you to improve in creative writing. So let us always know that through learning English and reading, our writing skills will be improved. And this will help us to be much more clear. So while you are writing, your writing becomes very clear because already you know what you're writing through the reading. Then you become very fluent because already you have the concept with you. Then you also become very interesting. And I came up with a quote for us in this concept of writing skills that good readers become good writers. And I hope all of us can be able to agree with that. The moment you writing something and you do not have the concept or you do not have the ideas, then from there you will not be able to write and you will not be able to communicate through writing. So I know as time that will be this our last webinar this year. Let us, as the English teachers, let us be able to remember that the more we read, the more the writing becomes very easy. But when we ignore the part of reading, then we might be out of shortage in what to write. So let us always remember that. I will ask any admin to be able to check on the waiting room. There are people who are still waiting there. Please admit them so
Yeah,
that
don't worry.
they
I'm
can
in charge.
continue with
Don't
us.
worry.
Yeah.
Just continue. Keep going.
Okay, thank you. So I was in that concept of explaining how reading improve our writing skills. And I'll say number one, it will improve our essays and emails, because sometimes we reply to emails that are sent by our employers. We write emails to them. Then it also helps us to organize our ideas very nicely, then make writing very clear, fluent, and interesting. And everyone will like to read a concept or an idea that is well presented. Then it will also improve our creative writing. Good readers become good writers. I know all of us will be able to remember that. Good readers become good writers. And it is only possible if we improve our reading through uh, through taking time to go through different articles to get the ideas. Now, how does reading improve our listening skills? How does reading improve our listening skills? That is the next concept that I want us to discuss. Now, reading helps you to organize words faster. Now, the moment you are a good listener, then through there, you'll be able to reorganize your words very faster. Yes. Then when you hear English, words feel very familiar because these are words that you've met, these are words you've interacted with, and once again, maybe you've used them in different life situations. Then it also helps us, our understanding becomes very easier. The moment we are able to improve our reading, then our listening skills will also be very improved, because it will help us to understand our understanding to become very easier. Then uh, most of the time we realize that, especially helping when combined with uh, things like maybe audiobooks and subtitles. This can only be very possible when we have good listening skills. I also have a quote here. A good listener becomes a good speaker. The same thing that I said when we are discussing about reading will improve our writing skills. A good reader becomes a good writer. Now, in this part of how reading improve our listening skills, a good listener becomes a good speaker, because the moment you listen very well, then you'll be able to know what do you speak, or how do you use these words in a sentence. So as we continue, let us not be able to forget about these quotes, because sometimes you can write them somewhere and they'll always remind you that for me to be a good writer, I must be a good reader. For me to be a good speaker, I must be a good listener. So those quotes are just meant for us to be able to remember. Now, how does reading build our confidence? How does reading build our confidence? You will feel more comfortable with English, because number one, you will make less mistakes. Now, less fear of mistakes simply means that the moment you already have the confidence with you, because you've already have what you are going to say, then the confidence is there. So few mistakes will be made, or you might end up not even making any mistake. Then it will also improve our better class participation. The moment you know that you already have the concept because you've read, then you'll be able to participate in class. And if you have maybe such kind of learner who has good vocabularies, good listening skills, good speaking skills, writing skills, such learner will be very active in class, because they'll participate in every part of English. Why? they have already mastered the skills of how to build their confidence. Then you'll always be able to know how do you express yourself. Yes, through reading, our confidence will be built, and this will help you more self-expression. You will be able to express yourself well because you have the ideas with you. But when you don't read and you don't have any idea, then you might not be able to express yourself very confidently. Now, it will also help you to be able to understand people more. So those are just an addition of what I have. After making less mistake, then it will help you to participate well in class. Then confidence will grow. Then you'll also be able to understand more. Now, how does reading improve our skills? Yes, thinking skills. Now, for us to be able to speak, you must think fast. Reading improves thinking skills. Why? Because it will help you to develop imaginations. Now, as someone is speaking to you, there's something called turn taking. One is speaking, the other one is listening. The moment someone is speaking to you and then you are listening, then in your mind there is that that imagination that comes. What do I need to reply, and how do I need to communicate with this kind of individual? Now, it will also help you to develop critical thinking. Now, there is thinking and there is critical thinking. Why is critical thinking very important? Because they always say that before you speak, you must think of what you're saying so that at least you don't regret or you don't end up speaking something that was not right. So I've just said that it will help us to develop imagination. It will also help us or encourages creativity. Yes. So after improving our critical thinking, it will also encourage our creativity. So creativity simply means you come up with new ideas and then you use them correctly. Yes, you become very innovative. You become very creative in speaking, in using of different vocabularies in language. Now, how does it help us? I've said reading improves thinking skill through it helps us to develop imagination, critical thinking, and creativity. Then it helps you to understand different cultures. Now, in this group, we are people from different part of the world, and our cultures are different. Maybe the culture of a certain country might not be the culture of another one. But when you read then, through reading, you'll be able to learn about different cultures. Like Kenya, we have our culture. Indonesia, they have their culture. Maybe Tanzania, they have their culture. Nigeria, they have their culture. So these cultures you can only learn through reading. So that one day when you go to a certain country that different country that you're not born there, then you are able to learn and understand their culture so that you don't do something that is against their culture. Now, we all know that if we know the culture of a certain country, then communicating with individual from that country will be very easy with us. It also helps us to see new ideas and opinions. Now, when your thinking skills is well developed, then new ideas will come up so that at least we can be able to recognize and accept every individual's ideas and their opinions. Then it makes learning English interesting and meaningful. Now, English can only be interesting and meaningful if we improve our thinking skills. Now, English can also be interesting and meaningful if our reading is also improved. So let us remember that through reading, it will help us to improve our thinking skills, but it can only make learning English interesting and meaningful if we know how to use the words and the vocabularies that we have learned through reading. Now, how do we develop a reading habit? Sometimes we struggle with this, all of us. Someone had a timetable that from this specific time, I'll be reading, I'll be reading this kind of storybook. Then you realize that being that we have our phones and we have different gadgets that might interfere with us, then you forget that. Now, how can we be able to develop our reading habit. So kindly move to the next slide so that we can be able to discuss how can we be able to develop our reading habit. And this is something that majority of us struggle with. And today I've come up with a very easy way on how we can develop our reading habit. And when you use this, I'm very sure that there are people who will come here and say they got an idea that helped them to improve their reading habit. Kindly move to the next slide. Thank you. Now, the first thing you need to do is for us to be able to develop our reading habit, because that will help us to improve our English. Number one, read daily for 10 to 20 minutes. I know this is something that might look very obvious and very ordinary, but it will help you to improve your reading habit. If I have a book that I'm reading and I know I have my target that within this specific time frame I need to be done reading this book, then every day I need to just take my 10 or 20 minutes, because I know sometimes when you read for long, 1 hour, 3 hours, some of us might become so tired. What I need to do, I only need to take my 10 to 20 minutes and read that. Then choose enjoyable topics. Yes. For us to be able to improve this, we need just to choose topics that are very enjoyable. From there, you get the morale and motivation to continue reading. Like now, me, I have enjoyable topics, maybe about sports, about music, that I read more. Then from there, I don't become bored while reading. Then the next thing that you need to do to develop your reading habit, start with very easy materials. Yes, don't go and start reading a novel that is very hard. And we have things that are very easy for you to be able to read. Then we can also do this. When we are reading, we can also do what we call an adventure. Yes, whereby at least we just go a place of very interesting places. We learn from there. We see new things. Then from there, we be able to develop our reading habit. Then through reading about stories that concern sports, mysteries, and things that are fantastic. That will help us to be able to develop our reading habit. Do not stop for every new word. Yes, when you are reading, don't read and then you find a new word and then stop there. You might take too long still figuring out what's the meaning of this new word. Then you realize that you're not able to figure it out, and then from there you give up. Then use a dictionary only when it is necessary. Now, all of us might maybe having soft copy dictionary or the hard copy. Now, don't every word that you meet you look at its meaning in the dictionary. Yes, use the dictionary when and only when it is necessary. So these are ways that can help us. So you can take any. Me, according to me, I took first one that every day I only take 15 minutes to read a novel. Then I also take topics that I always enjoy. Then I always start with the very easy materials. Then from there, I grow gradually, depending on the intention of why I'm reading that. So that is a way of developing reading habit. After knowing the quotes, please let us remember how can we develop our reading habit. Now, we'll move to the next slide. What are the tips for effective reading? How can we read very effectively? What are the tips for effective readings? Now, the tips for effective readings, number one, what you need to do when you are reading, you read aloud sometimes, not all the time. When you read aloud, you become alert. Then you need to highlight new words. When I'm reading, I have maybe my highlighter, or maybe I'm using a pencil. Then every new word, I uh, underline it or highlight it. Then from there, later I'll look at the meaning of these new words in the dictionary. Not immediately. If I have maybe a target of reading 3 pages, the new words will not stop me. What I'll do, I just highlight them. Then the end of my session, I'll be able to check at their meaning. Then write new vocabulary in a notebook. One thing that when I'm going to my room for reading, the first thing I need to have is my highlighter with me, a notebook, a pencil, and a dictionary. So these are materials that will help me as I continue reading. If I find a new word, I'll check it in my dictionary. Then only do that after I have highlighted it. Then I also use my notebook to write them down. The next thing that I do always that can also help us to have effective reading, I summarize what I have read. So summarizing what you've read simply means that whatever I've been learning within a day, I need to write a summary of those or that topic. From there, I'll be able to have a concept or an idea that is stored in my memory. Then another tips that we can use, we need to discuss stories with friends or teachers. Now, all of us, maybe at some point, we have our friends that we share our stories with them. Then that, through sharing our stories, maybe I've read a very interesting story, then I can share it with my friend. From there, I'll be able to memorize it and continue having the interest of reading more so that I can have more to share. Can share it with my friends, my teachers, my students, so that at least even them they'll have the develop the urge to be able to get the same story book and read about the story. That will help us to improve our reading. Those are tips that we can use at any point. So after we have discussed about how to develop our reading habits, we've gone to how can we be able to have effective reading. And I've just given you about 5 tips that are very easy. You need to read aloud sometime, not all the time, because sometimes you are in a room with others, and then they might be wondering why are you shouting. Then you also need to highlight new words. Then after these new words are highlighted, then I'll check their meanings later. You also need to write new vocabularies in a notebook. I always have mine that I use daily. I don't know what about the rest. Then try to summarize what you've read before leaving that room. Then discuss stories with friends or our teacher or the teachers that we have if we are learners here. Now, what are the common mistakes to avoid while you are reading? After having the effective reading and the tip that I've given you here, what are some of the common mistakes that people always make? And mistakes does not mean that when you're making a mistake does not mean that now you stop what you're doing. It means you learn from it and then you correct yourself so that next time you do it much better. Now, one of the mistakes that we always make while we are reading is, number one, you decide to start reading books that are difficult to understand. Then you become much bored. Then you give up. Then from there you stop reading. So I said that you just need to start with the stories that are very fantastic or stories that are very easy. Start with the very easy material. Those who are the how to develop a reading habit. You start with easy, very easy materials. But here, mistake that we always do while reading is reading books that are too difficult to understand. So the moment you are not able to understand these books or what you are reading about, it will kill your morale and you'll not continue reading. Then the next thing that we always do, now when we say mistake, then we should avoid them. Trying to memorize every word. As you read every word in a sentence, you try to memorize it. By the time you are done with maybe 5 to 6 sentences, you're already exhausted. You start dozing, you need to sleep, you need to go for a cup of coffee or take water. That will help you. That will not help you to be able to improve your reading skills. Now, let us not be able to try to memorize every word. Then, reading only for exams. This is something that affects most students or most people who are preparing for exams. Number one, you only read when there is an exam. Maybe you're waiting for a 1 week to exam, then you have a lot of materials with you. Start reading, going through them. Then you realize that you are not able to remember every concept. Then fear, panic start coming in. We should not only read for exam. We should always read at any time so that the concept and the ideas are with us. Then reading without interest. That maybe someone has told you to read, then you are not interested in it, but you are just reading for the sake of doing it. That is a very bad thing and is a mistake that we always do. Reading should be fun, not stressful. Yeah. If you look at how I have highlighted that reading should be fun, not stressful. When you in your reading room and then you feel you're stressed, you're exhausted, you're tired, you should stop and take some break. It should be fun. You should be able to enjoy while you are reading at any point. But when you realize that you become exhausted or you're tired or you're stressed, then that is not a good way to improve our reading skills. We always need to read when we feel it is fun as we continue doing it. Now, we'll move to real life examples. Yes, we'll move to real life examples. And one of the things that I'll write to remind all of us, real life examples, students to speak more fluently. Yes. Ask anyone who is able to read regularly, frequently. They'll be able to speak very fluently because they have the vocabularies with them. They have them in their mind. Then in exam, they'll be able to score higher in exams. So when you read frequently, you'll be able to score high in exam because you have they'll also be able to understand English movies better. Sometimes all of us like watching movies, but when you have good reading skills and the concept is with you and you are able to understand what they're saying, then automatically you'll be able to understand. And I know most of us, maybe sometimes we're interested in watching a movie that is being done in English. And if it is being done in English, then we always have the skills with us, or we are understanding and listening skills are improved through reading. Then we'll be able to understand these movies that are being aired in English. Then famous, successful people are always strong readers. This is true. Look at anyone who is very famous and successful. You go to their homes and maybe you go where they stay, you'll always find most of them, if not all, they have their library. Why do you think they have their library? Because they always look for new ideas, what they'll be doing the next thing, how they'll be doing things better. That's why they've stocked a lot of books in their homes to be able to get new ideas. They're reading about stories of successful people, those who maybe tried different ideas and why sometimes they fail, so that they learn from there. Yes, they always have those books to learn from. So famous, successful people are always strong readers. And that simply means for us to be found in this bracket, then reading should be one of the things that we give a priority. When we give reading a priority, it is very much better for us. Now, in conclusion, reading is a powerful tool to improve English. Yes, we're coming almost to conclusion. I've just said that reading is a powerful to improve English. Why? Because it will help us to improve, which of course we've discussed. It will help us to improve our grammar. It will help us to improve our speaking skills. It will help us to improve our writing skills, and it will help us to build confidence. So reading daily can change your English skills greatly. Now, the final message that I have for all of us after having these quotes, that if you want to master English, make reading your best friend. Yes, your best friend is someone you will always check up on. You will always ensure they are very safe, and you will always ensure that you know. For us to be able to have good mastery in English, then reading should be a priority. Friend, thank you so much, team. Thank you so much, our organizer. Unless we have any question, it was nice. It was nice you listening to me. Thank you so much. Back to
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Kenneth, for giving such a wonderful presentation. And maybe we can open the Q&A section, I believe. You can drop on the chat box, or you can just simply turn on your mic and then ask an inquiry to Mr. Kenneth. So, yeah, everyone who has a question, please ask Mr. Kenneth related to improving reading. Yeah, improving reading is really essential because if we want to boost our vocabularies and idiomatic expressions, I believe that we need to learn it from the basic one. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mansour. Thank you so much for a great presentation. Absolutely. And thank you, Miss Layla. And what about the others who wants to ask a question? So we have an inquiry from, well, I'm not sure how can I pronounce her name, Is it Sanchez Diaz, Claudia Veronica. I believe I'm not sure about it, but I'm sorry for the pronunciation. So she asked about what about singing? What's best, singing or reading? Maybe Mr. Kenneth can answer the question. Also, Mr. Kenneth, can you turn on your video, your cam because we cannot see you.
Thank you so much. I'll be able to do that. So uh, they've just asked about singing. Now, we can only be able to improve our singing if we have the words with us, and that can only be possible through readings. So, reading will help us to improve our singing skills because the mastery of the rhythm is with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, uh, Ms. Sanchez, for the question. Okay, let's move on. I believe we have other questions from Miss Lorna. So she asked about what is the role of scaffolding to effective teaching of reading? I believe scaffolding is part of my TESOL program related to improving the learners. So, Mr. Kenneth, you may answer the question from Miss Lorna.
Yes, pardon the question kindly.
Okay, so what is the role of scaffolding to effective teaching of reading?
Word of effective teaching of reading. Thank you so much. She's asked about what is scaffolding to the effective role of scaffolding to the effective
Yes,
reading, right?
scaffolding.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
we all know that for us to be able to have the mastery of reading, we have different ways. There are people who do different reading pattern. So scaffolding will only help us as a reading pattern so that uh, we can be able to get the real concept of reading. Now, when we're using scaffolding, automatically the real end or the real goal is to be able to improve your reading skill. So it will help you to improve your reading skills. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question. Yeah, from Dr. Mansour, he mentioned that skimming and scanning both are really important, especially if you want to ace the IELTS reading test. And intensive reading may be ensured in the classroom. However, extensive reading may be encouraged. Do you want to respond to this, Mr. Canas, from Mr. Dr. Mansour statement?
Thank you so much. Extensive reading, that's what he's talking about.
Yes, extensive reading may be encouraged. What do you think? Maybe you have a
Yeah.
feedback. Do you want to add something?
Now, for me to be very specific, reading, you start from a certain level, whereby when you are doing it extensively, then it means that there is a point where you start from. So if I am a beginner, then I cannot do extensive reading. So you start from a beginner, then you go to intermediate, then now you can advance, where now you move to the extensive reading. But at least start from somewhere. You begin from somewhere, then you go to a certain level, the intermediate level, then you can do the advanced reading or the extensive reading. So it is very effective, but you don't just start from extensive reading if I have not developed from the beginning stage to the intermediate stage, and then I move to the extensive stage. So begin from a certain level. You can begin low, then you move to advance. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much for the feedback, Mr. Kenneth. I believe Miss Margot has raised her hand. So do you want to ask or?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you also for the good session, Kenneth. I can see Dr. Lorna is not quite satisfied with the scaffolding, so maybe you can put it open for anyone who feels like answering that to be more specific. Then my question is about learners who have difficulty in reading. You'll find maybe a grade 5 learner who is not able to read what a grade 1 is able to read. So how can we help such learners to be at par with the rest of the learners? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can I make a conclusion from your question? Can you repeat your question again, because you have a connection problem, so I don't get it.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm asking,
Yeah.
how can you assist learners with issues in reading? You'll find maybe a grade 5 learner who is not able to read even 3-letter words that a grade 1 can read. Maybe they didn't practice from grade 1 to grade 4. How will you assist such a learner? Then I also mentioned that Dr. Lorna wasn't satisfied with the question about scaffolding. Maybe it can be open to anyone else from the team to respond. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So maybe is it Miss Lorna maybe doesn't satisfy with the answer from Mr. Kenneth. Maybe Mr. Kenneth, do you want to add something, or from the other participants? Maybe they want to give their own perspective about the scaffolding. So the question is, what is the role, the significant role, maybe the significant role of scaffolding to effective teaching of reading? Because as we might know, maybe students aren't really into reading, as we might know, because I used to in the past. I used to in the past, I didn't read a lot. Maybe how we could like what is the role, the effective role of scaffolding in teaching of reading. So maybe someone wants to give a feedback or giving a perspective. Can I use my mic? Absolutely. You can turn on your mic. Just give your question if you want.
Hi, can you hear me?
Absolutely. Just go on.
Yeah, this is Dr. Lorna from Salala, Oman. I just want to make some clarifications about my question, because first and foremost, we cannot teach reading when we don't go to the basic things. Okay,
Okay.
so for anything else, all we have to do is to make sure that our students are capable of, comprehending all the words and the things that they could found. I mean, they can find when they have to get hold of a book, for example, or just a passage, or a news article, or whatever reading materials that we are going to give to them. As an activity inside the classroom or outside the classroom. What I mean when I talk about scaffolding is that how do we teach and use scaffolding before we let our students read a particular resource or reading material, especially when it comes to grasping,
Oh.
understanding, and using words that are difficult for them to understand. or for that matter, when it comes to spelling, the basic things. So, this is what I mean. How are we going to use scaffolding as a strategy when we teach reading? Thank you.
Okay, okay, I got your point. So you're talking about, like before we begin into our classroom, before we teach into our classroom, we need to know about the scaffolding before teaching reading into our classroom. That's what you mean?
Yeah, basically that
Oh,
how do we scaffold? We use scaffold as a strategy not only in reading but across skills that we are going to teach in communicative language or in CLT. So
oh,
are we going to apply such things? We don't just slap our
mm,
students with particular resource material for them to read, but of
oh,
course we have to, go to the basics and go to them with just a foundation, lay down all the foundation in order for them to be ready and be prepared of a material that they are going to read as an activity, right?
oh, okay, 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 I got your points. Okay, Mr. Canas or the other participants want to give the question, so maybe I can conclude her question. So Miss Lorna asked about before we begin classroom, before we begin to teach, we need to know about the scaffold before we begin to teach a classroom because there are so many vocabularies in it, and then what should we do? What should we do in it? What kind of scaffolding before we begin the classroom, before we begin our teaching, especially with the reading one. I mean, like because our topic is related to reading, maybe someone wants to give a feedback. Yeah, Miss Margot, you can give your perspective or answer.
Yeah, on that I can say maybe you should start from basics, little giving them like little sentences or short stories, reading for them comprehensions, whereby they'll be able to learn reading from paragraphs before going to a bigger book. Then we also have Meringuro, who has said it also helps motivate and build the learner's confidence. So I can say starting from the basics will really help, especially for the foundation, for the learners who have not been able to read bigger books. Like we have story books for the lower young learners where you find they're just sentences, like 5 sentences of a story. This will help them. And also, if you bring like maybe an audio, because you had talked about audio, Kenneth, initially, the learners can listen to a story from someone, and with that, they'll get encouraged to be able to read now from other books that will provide apart from the curriculum. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the feedback, Miss Margot. Anyone else wants to give their perspective, or maybe is it satisfied with the answer, Miss Lorna? Are you satisfied or not?
Yeah, that's good. And there are also many scaffolding strategies and activities we can find in textbooks as well. Yeah, the best thing is to go over them and be creative. It's just boring for students to tackle when we just really go by the books. But when a teacher is being creative, especially with the use of AI, at the same time there are so many applications that we can integrate, and there are so many ways with tech tools and artificial intelligence that can do wonders for scaffolding. These things could really make it easier for students to go step by step, like before plunging into really big paragraphs or maybe a novel, perhaps, like when you go deeper into reading. So a reading task, I mean. So yeah, basically that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Mila. Nice to meet, nice perspective. Yeah, also Miss Margot. Yeah, I actually believe that yeah we can utilize like ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is kind of new. It's not a thing like for the last 50 years. It's kind of new. So maybe educators just like us, we need to have like scrutinize. We need to scrutinize how we can utilize the ChatGPT before before taking the classrooms. Before we begin our class, they can use the ChatGPT to know, okay, this is the vocabulary that we can use, and then they can improve their like vocabularies. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I guess we have one question left in here, but Miss Mary also mentioned that in scaffolding it also helps motivate and build the learner's confidence. Absolutely, just like how Mr. Kenneth told us before in his presentation. Okay, so we have another question from I'm so sorry for the pronunciation, So her name is Miss Luisa. So she asked to Mr. Kenneth. So is recreational reading beneficial also to non-native speakers of English? What if there is minimal grasp of the language? Maybe Mr. Kenneth, you can answer the question. So is there recreational reading beneficial also to non-native speaker? Because I'm a non-native speaker. I'm using English as a second language. So maybe Mr. Kenneth, you can give your answer about this.
Thank you so much. Sorry, the non-native English speakers sometimes they find it difficult for them to be able to understand the language. So I always advise that they now first take reading as in session. The take is as fun for them to be able to learn fast, and then from there it will be more important because you might be a non-native English speaker nation, then you go to different country who now use English. So for you to be able to communicate across the world to maybe different people, sometimes
Is
learning
that
and
all?
reading about. Hello, are you able to hear me?
Mr. Kenneth, are you in here? Okay, I think that's all. Okay. Thank you so much.
Are you able to hear
Or
me?
maybe,
Yes, we can. Go ahead,
Hello.
please. Yes, Kenneth, go
Oh,
ahead.
thank you.
okay.
Yeah, I was responding to that question. Reading is important to the non-native because in all situations we build our capacity through the concept and through the skills that we have learned through reading. But sometimes we might not use it frequently because we don't use English. But it is important because it will help you to be able to know, even if you're not reading, but not only reading, but you'll be able to have the confidence in you while speaking to maybe a native, English native language individual. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I'm done.
Oh, you're done. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. So maybe, uh, yeah, from Dr. Doris, she mentions that it depends on the level and age of students to scaffold. Absolutely. Sometimes, it's kind of unique. Sometimes I mean, like each student has their own capability in terms of English, just like at my international school in my province, like at the age of 12 to 15 years old, their English capability is between C1 to C2 level. So I believe that we cannot use the same books, the same strategy, the scaffold. So I truly believe I agree with Mr. Dr. Doris and Miss Dr. Doris. And to make students interested in reading, we need to choose selections absolutely related to their interest and experience. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Doris, for your feedback. And then from Miss Eli Huruma, animal stories may be the best basis, absolutely, for new learners or young learners. Absolutely, they love to read vivid colors. They love to have a vivid colors for the image, and then for the words in the book. Okay, Miss Margot, you raised your hand. Do you want to say something?
Just an addition to what Dr. Doris has written and Lemma, I can also say apart from the interests and the learner's age, you also have to look at the gender of the learner. perhaps maybe giving boys things to do with cars, driving, they'll be more interested in reading such than giving them things to do with what a girl child will be able to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much from your perspective, Miss Marco. Anyone else wants to give your own opinion about the topic, about scaffolding, maybe about the others? If no, maybe we can continue. So from Mr. Maybe, sorry, I'm not sure, is it Mr. or Miss? Mr. Dongobada, so please may you sum up what scaffolding is as I joined the meeting toward the conclusion. So basically, I can sum it up. Basically, scaffolding, it's not from me, okay, because I'm the moderator. Maybe we can go back to the Mr. Canas. So what do you think, Mr. Canas, about the question that you answered before? Mr. Canas, you can turn on your mic.
Yes, pardon kindly.
Okay, so can you sum up for the whole section for the presentation that you made? Because someone just joined our webinar today.
Thank you.
Okay, just a little bit. For the interest of time, this session is being recorded. So those who joined late can always follow up from the recording, please. And perhaps maybe Dr. Lorna can just give a sentence or two about the scaffolding that she just mentioned. Thank you.
Hi again. Thank you for the opportunity to just to sum it all up. I think scaffolding will never be considered as just a strategy. Like, it depends on the kinds of learners you are teaching. It's really general and basic for everyone to use it, whether we are teaching reading, speaking, listening, writing, or any skills that, for that matter, that we are going to to teach to our students. It can be integrated with other how do you call this, very creative and most common strategies, even with the tech, or whether you are just using non-tangible things or using an experiential way of teaching a particular content across skills. Scaffolding will never be taken out, or you cannot get away with that when we teach, especially when we want our students to become effective, like what we are talking about now, readers. So it's a step-by-step process. A teacher has to go or go beyond his limits and go back to the levels and the needs of the students when they want to learn and how they are going to learn. And with that could be a start for the teachers to think about, how will I make this very simple for my students to comprehend, for example. So if you have a textbook along with the curriculum that we are teaching and how to deliver that plan, then that's one way to start your planning, to include and integrate scaffolding as you go along with the writing of your task, or in the creation of your activities before you are going to plunge or give students the material, a particular material that they are about to read. And start with the vocab, always with a vocabulary list. Yeah, a vocabulary list can be given as an introduction, or like a warmer, for example, or it could be a review or a recall, and it has to go with the spelling as well. So if you are thinking of a particular reading material that we are going to give to our students, why not take out all the difficult words coming from that material, and then let the students, introduce that to the students in a very more creative and enjoyable way. So from there, you can start to scaffold step by step. That's very basic and a foundation on how to teach reading. You cannot just plunge them with a book or a paragraphs or several paragraphs or even an essay, right? So that's my take. I hope everybody gets that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. What a wonderful opinion. And maybe we have another participant who wants to give her own perspective. So, Miss Lisa, you can turn on your mic and yeah, you can go.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. I would like to introduce myself first. I'm Luisa Biray from the Philippines. I'm a teacher of reading, so I would like to share some of the experiences I've had with teaching non-native speakers of English. So basically, we just go back to basic sight words as an introduction of how they will have to pronounce certain words. The simple, when I say basic sight words, those nursery words that we see in those simple storybooks, that would be the start for them. And then it also helps that we accompany it with singing, with some music, because in that way it is much easier for students to remember those words. And then we would like to also relate it, and probably we just have to, like, for example, I'll give a a simple word like pan, PAN. Okay, so PAN, how it's going to be pronounced, where it's being used, we can use it in a sentence, and then maybe we can challenge the students also to come up with other sentences once they establish understanding of that simple word. So we just go back, I'll just have to reiterate, we just go back to those basic sight words in order to help those non-native speakers, and that would be a great help. Definitely, we cannot go to very difficult words. It's going to be very futile and it's going to be very impossible for these students to understand those, right? So just basic sight words. So let's just go back to those storybooks, and it's also very interesting as well. Yeah. So that's all I have to say, and thank you for letting me take the mic. And mic is free. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Lisa. What, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it was a great opinion. I believe that, yeah, that's also such a great opinion about our topic today. So maybe what about the others? Because maybe it passes the limit that we have for the webinar. Or maybe you have another question, you can drop it on the chat box. Or if not, I can give it back to Miss Mark. So yeah, is it scaffolding the collection of all the readings that the students read and the activities they do or task related to their reading? Scaffolding traces the progress of students in reading. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Although from Mr. No mentions that scaffolding is an instructional technique where assistance is given only until the learner can manage independently. That's also work because we need to make sure that students can self-practice at home, or maybe like doing it independently without the needing of teachers' assistance. So yeah, that's also true. Okay, maybe I can give it back to Miss Margot. So the stage is yours. Yeah, you can go.
Wow. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. Um, Kenneth, you've taken us through a very nice reading habit foundation, and I'm sure participants have grasped something from the session. And as you have said, good readers become good writers, and good listeners become good speakers. That I agree with you totally. As we continue reading, we also learn more things through reading, and also the cultural diversity, as you've mentioned, we really learn about it from different books from different countries. And I must say it was an interactive session. I'm so happy that participants have been asking questions and responding, and I'm glad about that. And also thank you, Dr. Mansour, for sharing the education materials. There are some links that were shared there. Maybe they can be helpful to you. And I also appreciate Dr. Lorna, Dr. Doris, Louisa, and Lema for taking us through the messages, and also not forgetting Mary, who is part of the board, who is also has been also encouraging members to join the session. Now, as our culture, we normally issue certificates to our speaker and moderator. So at this juncture, we'll be able to issue our certificate to the speaker. Kindly, Dicky. Mary, kindly issue the certificate to the speaker, please.
Hello, yes, thank you very much, Margot, for this and the session that we have just had. I'm just requesting that you share the
Vicky, please share your screen, please.
Be able to share them.
Vicky, kindly share the certificate of the speaker.
This one? The certificate? I have three.
Oh, thank you very much. It is very clear. It is very visible.
Oh, this one.
So we have enjoyed the session very much, and we have learned a lot. And I'm very happy and very pleased to present this certificate to our speaker of the day, that is Kenneth Okumu. Thank you very much for taking us through this important session whereby you are discussing English, and this certificate is proudly presented to you, Okumu. Thank you very much for the presentation. I hope you're able to see it, Kenneth. That certificate is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It looks very nice.
Yeah, it is yours from IELTA Kenya, proudly presented to you. Kindly, Wiki, share the next one.
This one?
Yes, thank you very much. This one is proudly presented to you, Dwiki Raman Khan, for being our moderator in our webinar for today that is entitled The Power of Reading to Improve English. So from IELTA Kenya, we present this certificate to you. It is yours. Thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Continue, Mary.
And all participants will also receive their certificates. Kindly mute so that we avoid the echoes, please.
Hold on, I can help you.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying everyone will receive a certificate of participation as well. I'll share the link on the respective groups, and you'll be able to sign up a survey form, and after that, you'll be able to get the Google form, this certificate in your email. I really appreciate you people for having supported us the entire year from January, where we started, until this month of December. And the last 3 months, October, November, and December, we've had marathon of webinars from different countries. And we look forward, God willing, to 2026, where we'll be able to continue engaging more presenters to continue having career development. Because you can't just be a teacher and you're not learning. If you're a teacher, you have to keep on learning every day so that you're able to be at par with the emerging issues as well. So thank you so much for joining. And we have only a few days to Christmas for those who are celebrating Christmas. And kindly open up your cameras. We are going to sing a Christmas song before we finish. And I don't know whether Sola is here, our Vice President. I can't fail to recognize her because she's been the one behind the Zoom Google account. She's always taken her time, sacrificed to give us the Zoom to be able to have these sessions. Thank you so much, Sola. And thank you to the entire Kenyan board and also the main international IELTA board. And also to Dicky, I really appreciate for your volunteer to be a guest moderator as well. Thank you so much, participants. So kindly open up your cameras. We're going to sing a song for Christmas. Thank you for the wonderful messages. I can see them.
Happy New Year's 2026, because I believe that this is the end of our webinar. So yeah, 2026 is coming. So yeah, wish the best for you all. And maybe we can turn on our camera before the end of 2025 agenda. Yeah, from IELTA
Okay.
Kenya.
All of you, unmute, please. Open up your cameras. We are singing. So maybe I'll just start the first sentence. I think we'll have to mute. I take you through first because of the echoes. Yeah, I was saying we'll just sing the normal, common, we wish you a Merry Christmas song. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you. Okay, now we start all of us at once. I think it's a common song, everyone knows it. So there we go. 1, 2, 3. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I think because of the mics, we can't hear ourselves fully, but I'm sure everyone is enjoying from the backyard. Let's repeat one more time. Okay, 1, 2, go. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Boy, child, male, I'm not hearing the bass. Yimba, sing for us. All right. Thank you so much. We've not heard the male voices. All right.
Can I do it?
Yeah, sure. Please do it.
We. Right. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kenneth. Thank you, everyone. And we can call it a night, a day, a morning. Goodbye, everyone. Have a happy new 2026, and let's meet again in January. Thank you so much.